Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on what time you are watching this video. I'm Paloma Cardoso, PhD student at the Federal University of Sergipe in Brazil, and the title of my presentation is Linguistic, Acoustic, and Facial Gestures Effects in the Inference of the Meanings Indicated by Eu acho que in Brazilian Portuguese. This research was developed by me and by Raquel Freitag, Doctor in Linguistics, Professor of the Postgraduate Program in Languages at the Federal University of Sergipe, Brazil, and also my supervisor. In English, we can use I think that to indicate different meanings, different degrees of assertion. The same happens in Brazilian Portuguese with eu acho que, or I think that, an ambiguous discursive marker that can indicate certainty, doubt, and uncertainty. To differentiate these three meanings, researchers use the intuition of native speakers of Brazilian Portuguese, structural and subjective variables. When used to indicate certainty, eu acho que can be glossed my opinion is that. This is an example 1, from the data we analyzed, in which the speaker expressed an opinion about a past action whose consequences were not the best for her. So, in Brazilian Portuguese, we have eu acho que o meu maior erro foi não ter conversado com meus pais. In English, I think that my biggest mistake was not having talked to my parents. But besides opinion, besides certainty, eu acho que also express different degrees of assertion. And according to Silva, uncertainty suggests a gradation based on the speaker's impersonal knowledge about something, about a given subject. Doubt, on the other hand, is related to issues in which speakers are directly involved and whose answer can be yes or no. I will show to you another 2 examples from the data that we analyzed. So in example 2, we have in Brazilian Portuguese, acho que já fui para Alagoas, mas foi também em um hotel que eu nem lembro o nome. In English, I think I've already been to Alagoas. Alagoas is a Brazilian state, but I went to a hotel that I don't even remember the name. And in example 3, we have in Brazilian Portuguese, acho que minha mãe ainda lê mais que meu pai. In English, I think that my mother reads more than my father. The 3 examples of the use of eu acho que that I showed to you were taken from Deslocamentos 2021, the database that we analyzed. Considering the 3 uses, the 3 meanings, the question is, how do speakers differentiate certainty from doubt and uncertainty? We infer meanings by the lexical items, by the sound of voices, and by gestural faces, gestural facial gestures. What we see is also relevant to the interaction to differentiate meanings. From an acoustic point of view, certainty is characterized by higher values of intensity and lower values of duration, unlike uncertainty and doubt. And from a gestural point of view, there are also differences because certainty is characterized by a neutral facial expressions, unlike uncertainty and doubt, characterized by the contraction of eyebrows and mouth. These movements, the contraction of eyebrows and mouth, characterizes the expressions of disgust, sadness, and fear, emotions that, according to Ekman, are basic. All the humankind can express anger, happiness, surprise, disgust, sadness, and fear. So considering all the linguistic, acoustic, and gestural evidences, our research question is, are linguistic, acoustic, and facial gestures relevant to the inference of the meanings indicated by eu acho que in Brazilian Portuguese? To answer this question, we used 30 sociolinguistic interviews recorded in audio and video at the Federal University of Sergipe. Sergipe is the smallest state in Brazil. You are seeing right now the Brazilian map, and Sergipe is the green point. The red point is the campus of the Federal University of Sergipe, on which we conducted our research. We controlled structural variables, that is the type of occurrence of eu acho que, because in Brazilian Portuguese we can use eu acho que or acho que. The presence of the pronoun, the presence of eu, or in English, the presence of I, is not mandatory. So we control the type of occurrence, we control the scope of acho que or eu acho que, that could be internal or external, and the polarity of this scope, that could be positive or negative. We also controlled subjective variables, and as subjective variables, we controlled the discursive topic, because during the interviews that make up the Deslocamentos 2021 database, all the interviewees talked about personal and social topics like childhood memories, gender issues, public health, education, and safety. When I quoted the uses of eu acho que from Deslocamentos 2021 database, I tried to manipulate the sound of my voice to differentiate certainty from doubt and uncertainty. I did this because there is evidence that fundamental frequency, intensity, and duration are relevant to differentiate sentences that indicate these three meanings. But considering that during sociolinguistic interviews, eu acho que introduces complements of different sizes, and also considering our research object, the acoustic analysis that we conducted only considered the ambiguous discursive marker eu acho que. About the analysis of gestural variables, we controlled the movement of eyebrows, mouth, and nose that characterizes the expressions of anger, mockery, disgust, fear, happiness, neutrality, sadness, and surprise, captured by the software OpenFace, according to Tejada et al. Proposal that uses an image bank with Brazilian and Colombian faces. We executed different analyses for each type of variables. We conducted one analysis with linguistic, other with acoustic, and another one with gestural variables. On the 30 sociolinguistic interviews that we analyzed, there were 138 occurrences of eu acho que. The form with the pronoun eu acho que was the most used, mostly to indicate certainty, or as you can see in the image by my side, in Brazilian Portuguese, certeza. And as suggested by previous descriptive studies, structural variables are relevant to infer the meanings, to differentiate the meanings of certainty, doubt, and uncertainty. In example 4, we have an example in which eu acho que was used to indicate certainty or opinion about a social topic. The speaker said, eu acho que sim, são necessárias porque a gente vive numa sociedade desigual. In English, we can translate this quote like that. I think that, eu acho que, my opinion is that they, and he was talking about educational policies, are necessary because we live in an unequal society. In example 5, The speaker used eu acho que to express another meaning, to express doubt, to express that he wasn't sure about something that happened in his professional life. So he said in Brazilian Portuguese, acho que estou no quarto ou quinto emprego. In English, I think that I'm on the fourth or fifth job. In this context, the answer could be only one of the two options, fourth or fifth, or we can understand these possibilities as yes or no. In another example, example 6, we have another speaker talking about race issues, a topic about which she wasn't sure about what could be said. So in Brazilian Portuguese we have eu acho que não, mas ao mesmo tempo tem que levar em consideração a questão racial, né? In English, I don't think so, but at the same time you have to take into account the racial issue, right? In that case, eu acho que was used to express uncertainty. But besides structural, we also found acoustic differences between the meanings indicated by eu acho que. Of the acoustic variables that we analyzed, only intensity and duration were statistically significant. Perceptually, certainty is expressed with a strong and a short pronunciation of eu acho que. Something like eu acho que, it's very punctual. Doubt and uncertainty, on the other hand, are expressed with a less intense and longer pronunciation of this discursive marker. Something like eu acho que. There is an acoustic difference between the meanings. And about the gestural differences, in the analysis of our 30 sociolinguistic interviews, we also found difference between the three meanings that we considered. The software open face used to capture and categorize the expressions of anger, mockery, disgust, fear, happiness, neutrality, sadness, and surprise generated the intensity of the movements that characterize each one of these emotions. And the results suggested that certainty is characterized by neutral facial expressions, while uncertainty and doubt by the contraction of eyebrows and mouth. You are seeing right now the pattern of facial gestures during the realization of eu acho que or acho que. The vertical line corresponds to the beginning of the realization of this discursive marker. Until this moment, we saw that there is structural and acoustic and gestural differences between the meanings indicated by eu acho que. So this is our final remarks. Eu acho que was differentiated in the Deslocamentos 2021 database by linguistic variables to indicate certainty. Speakers used eu acho que, while to indicate uncertainty, they used acho que. The different degrees of assertions were marked by the presence or by the absence of the pronoun of eu, in English, I. The meanings of certainty, doubt, and uncertainty were associated with the internal scope of eu acho que, while the speakers talked about their personal experiences. And from an acoustic point of view, certainty was characterized by a higher intensity and lower duration, unlike uncertainty and doubt, characterized by a lower intensity and higher duration. We also found gestural differences, while certainty was characterized by a neutral facial expression. Doubt and uncertainty were characterized by the contraction of the eyebrow and mouth. The software open face recognized the expressions of disgust, fear, and surprise, but this doesn't mean that the speakers were afraid of something. This only means that they were contracting the lines of the eyebrows and mouth. So that's it. This is our results. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to hearing your comments, suggestions, or criticisms. See you. Bye bye. Thank you.